Let's start here. Blue cities across the country were rocked by violence this weekend, including right here in New York City. As you can see here in this video obtained by City Councilwoman Vicky Palladino, a violent mob set a car on fire in Queens after brutally assaulting a couple at a car meetup rally on Saturday night. The attack began after one victim asked the mob to get off his property. He was then punched, kicked, and stomped on, resulting in a broken nose and bruised ribs. His wife was also hit as he was getting jumped, and Palladino says he's lucky he wasn't killed. And then over to Chicago, which suffered similar chaos this weekend in the city's downtown loop. There were 2 shootings, left 1 person dead, 8 others injured, most of whom were teenagers. The violence came just hours after a peaceful Christmas tree lighting on a night when Chicagoans were supposed to celebrate. Instead, it turned deadly in the Democrat-led city. President Trump posted this on Saturday as the recent crime wave shows no sign of slowing down. Quote, Governor Pritzker and the low IQ mayor of Chicago are refusing federal government help for a situation that could quickly become remedied. The people are chanting, bring in Trump. Well, sticking with Chicago, this is absolutely horrific. Bethany McGee is currently fighting for her life after police say a career criminal soaked her in gasoline, set her on fire on a Chicago train. She was just 26 years old. Bethany's attacker was a career criminal repeat offender who, listen to this, had 72 prior arrests. The suspect also allegedly shouted profanities at her, telling her to burn as he doused her in gasoline. Donna, I mean, my head went to, I believe it was a year ago, where in New York City, there was a woman set on fire on the train. It's that horrifying story you can't get out of your head. And then you hear this, a 26-year-old fighting for her life, 72 prior arrests. How does this happen?
Well, it happens because we now have no cash bail in Illinois. So judges are forced with this decision where you either leave people in or you let them out. And what did they do here? They let them out after the prosecutors begged and begged and begged to keep him in. And then when they let him out, they put him on a monitor and the monitor fails. He violated the curfews. He violated the times he was supposed to be home. He shouldn't have even been out of the house at the time that this took place. So the problem is so widespread, and it's only going to get worse. And if you noticed on that train when we saw the video, no one went to her aid. No one tried to stop him. And why? Because look what happens when you try to stop. The state comes after you and you have a Daniel Penny situation. So, I mean, this is just horrific. This is my home. This is where I live. This is awful.
It is horrific. And yeah, we do see that trend where no one intervenes. No one wants to help. Emily, and then you look, for instance, at the New York attack. Vicky Palladino, that councilwoman. Here's one thing that we found. We'll put it up. Response to this incident was less than ideal. Residents were reporting the incident to 911 and were told that the quality of life team in 311 should handle the situation. I mean, I've got to imagine this could get way worse if you start eliminating the gang database like Mom Donnie wants to do.
Well, that's the thing. I think a lot of this has been approached by the left in these siloed columns where they say we're going to disband, the gang SWAT team, whatever. We're going to put in counselors. Like they don't see that the overwhelming overlay is actually a complex and related situation. So we saw that homeowner there in Chicago that dared to tell people to get off his property. That's what you should be able to do. But it was met with a massive and disproportionate violence. So that means that people are then scared into silence. And when you have in places like Portland, remember, when they disbanded their 911 unit and they put in calling park rangers instead, well, they had to end up calling 911 because they were met with violence in the public parks. So the reality is that when you sort of erode the things that are in place that actually help the safety of Americans, it totally craters. It is like a sand thing in the beach where the sand keeps falling in, and it is so deeply frustrating to learn that, for example, that disgusting monster shouldn't have even been outside when that happened. And it reminds me of a client who had an ankle monitor on. She went outside to water her roses, and the parole officer came up because she had violated the geography. Like, why is it that in those instances, they're on it and everything's fine, and the ones where there are lives at stake, that is when in these infested, toxic, tumor-addled cities, when there are good Americans there trying so hard to live thoroughly and with wholeness, that instead they are just being absolutely destroyed. This will only get worse unless the federal government steps in or unless there is a total change of leadership in these Democrat cities.
So you teed that up perfectly because Mamdani was pressed on federal troops, potentially federal law enforcement coming to New York City. Watch his answer. He sidesteps the question. It's interesting. Listen.
What did President Trump say to you? Did he assure you he will not send troops into New York?
He told me that he cared deeply about public safety. I said I cared deeply about the same.
But did he say he wouldn't send troops?
What I told him is that what separates New York City from anywhere else in the country is we have the NYPD. And I trust the NYPD to deliver public safety. And to me, that is something that I know that they can do, that they have done, and they will continue to do under my leadership.
So he didn't rule it out in your meeting?
I made it very clear what we wanted to do was to deliver public safety and affordability, and the NYPD would be the ones to do so.
Charlie, he didn't say no. He didn't say no that Trump said, I'm not sending troops.
Right. And, you know, we've made a lot about, had a lot of talk about the fact that Trump and Mamdani had a lot of conversations about affordability. But I can't help but to think, you know, there's a more basic thing that they should agree upon, and that is the safety of citizens. The idea that somebody can't walk down the street and without getting lit on fire or ride on the train without getting set on fire is just appallingly unacceptable. And it happens at an alarming rate around, especially Democrat-run cities where you have prosecutors that don't prosecute crimes. You have these criminals getting out with no cash bail. You have, and then the idea that you have these thugs doing donuts in somebody's front yard. In vast swaths of this country, if somebody tells you to get out of their yard, you're going to get out of their yard for one reason only, because either you know that they are armed and willing to defend their property, or you are afraid that they are armed and willing to defend their property, and so you're not going to do those things. And, you know, when I look at politicians, and of course, it was 2 years ago that people like Mamdani and the progressives were still talking about defunding the police. And I think Mamdani still believes in defunding the police. You know, I guess it's a good thing that maybe Democrats are starting to acknowledge that they really do have a problem. The problem now is none of their solutions are going to fix anything.
Yeah, and to be clear, you know, when we talk about federal law enforcement coming, we are talking about ICE agents, DHS, who they say will be here in New York City. President Trump has yet to invoke the Insurrection Act, which would allow him to send far more federal law enforcement. Ainsley.
Yeah, I mean, we have these politicians who preach no bail, like you said, Donna, that say, let's defund, let's dismantle, let's reimagine. Do they not care about taking care of and protecting their citizens? These are all three incidents that we've mentioned today that happen where we all could be. It's not a back alley doing a drug deal, right? These are in Chicago. They went to the tree lighting ceremony on Friday night. 8 children were injured. A 14-year-old boy was shot and killed. 7 out of those 8 that were injured, 7 were children ages 13 to 17. And the mayor blames guns and blames adults for not accompanying their children. And then in Chicago, the lady set on fire. 72 prior arrests. 72, almost 100. Why is this guy out on the streets? Why isn't he behind bars? That girl would never be faced with burns for the rest of her life and be fighting for her life in so much pain for a long time. You know what they do to you in a burn unit? They have to scrape off your skin over and over. It's really, really painful, apparently. And in New York, you're just watching TV with your family, your kids, and in your front yard, you look out the window and you're in Queens and 40 cars are doing donuts in your yard. You go out there and you have your nose broken, you're assaulted, you're punched, you're stomped on, your wife gets hit. The police officer, a private security guard, tried to calm the situation. He was arrested, suffered significant injuries. Then the residents called 911, told the Quality of Life team to call the Quality of Life team or 311 that they should handle the situation. Mamdani, he wants to hire social workers. So when we call 911, a social worker comes.
It's incomprehensible. And you'd think that they'd look at the Memphis approach that is working and crime's coming down and the D.C. approach where crime's coming down and say, let's work together to protect our citizens from this. But hey, what do I know?
Hey, everyone. I'm Emily Campagno. Catch me and my co-hosts Harris Faulkner and Kaylee McEnany on Outnumbered every weekday at 12 p.m. Eastern, or set your DVR. Also, don't forget to subscribe to the Fox News YouTube page for daily highlights.